Okay, so you tie the business to the music, to the band. What was it? You knew you were a good business person because of what you had done in your life up until then. What was it during the course of the band that made you realize I have to take charge of this?
Well, there was two things that happened. One was early in the early days, we had a bad manager, the first manager. I didn't put the copy of the contract in the book. I should have, because I found a copy of the first management contract in which we get 40%. I mean, don't ask me why.
Wow.
I was just like some dumbass kid, like Blind Lemon Pledge or something. I don't know. I just signed some horrible management deal. So when the band fell apart in the beginning stages, I took it upon myself to right the ship. However, understand this, that I went through two tough times with lead singers that were nuts. The first and second lead singer. The first lead singer, Michael, thought of the name, but he was an alcoholic. He pulled out a gun on the drummer and threatened to kill him in a bar fight, which is written about in the book. Mm-hmm. In fact, the club that took place in, that club owners pinged me the other day. I haven't spoken to that guy in 40 years. And I said to him, George, this happened upstairs at the Sahara at your place. And he goes, yeah, those guns were lying there. It was crazy. So that was part of it. Then I said, well, I can't trust lead singers. I'm going to be the lead singer. So this is first self-realization. My voice sucks. God created Lou Reed so I could do cover material. Like, my voice is terrible. Like, how do you know you've done a Lou Reed song badly? Sing it on key. That's how you know you have fucked up a Lou Reed song. Okay. So Lou Reed became my God because, and Dylan too. Hey, you sing like that, you can get away with it. However, in the bar scene, nobody really cares about Lou Reed and Bob Dylan. They want Led Zeppelin. So I took over the lead singing role. And of course, the band really tanked pretty quickly. At which point, the realization that I needed other people to become successful really hit home. I couldn't do it myself. Maybe Bruce Springsteen could call it Bruce Springsteen and the E Street Band, and Tom Petty could call it Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers, and Elvis Costello could call it Elvis Costello and the Attractions. That wasn't me. Me was a band framework. I needed people to help. So I needed a guy who wrote and a guy who sang, and Dee was a great singer. And I needed another guitar player, and Eddie Ojeda is a great guitar player, and I needed great bass players. I needed great drummers. I can't do it all myself. And if I'm going to have all these people, I have to make a decision. Am I going to pay them so I can be the star, or are we all going to suffer together and make it together? That's the two different theories of bands. You either make it as a band, or you make it as one person with a backing band, and you make sure they get paid, because those people aren't going to share the stardom with you. I said, I'm going to share the stardom with everybody. And that's the same kind of attitude with Steve. I am a collaborator by nature, which means I need another person to help realize my dreams. And that was the impetus of creating the band and bringing Dee on. Now, Dee was nuts, okay? Dee was crazy, but he was totally straight. And I said to him, you don't drink and do drugs. I didn't know what he was going to say because he was so hyper. He drank like coffee and his leg was all going up and down like this, and he goes, fuck drugs, man. I never did drugs in my life. I said, you drink this? Fuck no. I didn't drink. In fact, the first drink he ever took was on the night that he got married to Suzette in 1981. They had a glass of champagne, right? So I said to Dee, whoa, I need this guy. He may be crazy. And, I make fun of Dee all the time. When I announce him on stage, I say, ladies and gentlemen, please give it up for the guy that looks like Sarah Jessica Parker dipped in a vat of acid. This is how I introduce him. He's an amazing sense of humor, but he's an amazingly talented and dedicated guy. Now, if you look at the book, at the back of the book, you see all those concert dates? Mm-hmm. Did you look at them? Did you go, oh my God, that's crazy?
I was exhausted just reading them.
Yeah. So imagine playing them, and imagine the kind of business you have to create with people who are your partners who can sustain that much work.
Right.
I had to find the right guys who did not shy away from that much dedication. That dedication is overwhelming. I look at that list there. I could put aside the jokes about the fact that I can't hear, as my wife will tell you, I'm completely deaf. But the fact is, there's thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of shows. And that's how we became good. But in order to do that, you got to find people who are willing to hitch their wagon to you. Yeah. And it's hard.
And although you did turn down Dee Snider the first time, or it was the whole band, and then that led to another story. Right.
Yeah,
okay. Why don't you tell that?
Yeah, I mean, because I did not know that the two guys in the band at the time were conspiring to steal the gear from me. As I go into the book, look, what do I say in the book? We were turned down more times than a bed sheet in a whorehouse and come back more times than Freddy Krueger. I mean, it makes for a great story. I know how to sell a great story. I know how to make fun of myself and make it sound easily accessible. But can I tell you, it was painful. When they stole the truck, it was painful. When we tried to start up again with me singing, it was painful. The rejection was painful. And then you get D, and then you slowly climb back, and then you get rejected from the record labels, which is painful. There's so much pain associated with it, but none of those painful issues led to drinking and doing drugs. And this is the important message here. The important message is life is hard enough. But if you're going to cushion yourself with drugs and alcohol, your ability to actually deal with them in a cogent, responsible way becomes nearly impossible. So we were able to confront all of these issues head on, clear-eyed, rationally, which is opposed to everything ever written about Keith Richards on the planet Earth, and that's what worked for us. And that's what made the story so compelling for Steve. And it's a true